Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion in the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. The link is in the description. Over there, you can find a detailed description of the day's astrological aspects as I have them drawn out here. Here, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page. Then I'll play another card that, in the context of today's astrology, may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Two of Swords. And it's here because in astrology, it represents the first 10 days or the first decan of the sun's transit in the land of Libra. Now, Libra is an air sign, and swords in tarot are air element symbolism. And air element symbolism is about the intellect and how we use it. Our thoughts, the plans we make, the words we use, how we communicate, and really like how we use those things, with the reminder that, you know, words, our thoughts, words, and our plans are powerful things that have the capability of doing harm or doing good in the world. And so we come to the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords, here we see a person sort of seated with their back to the water, to the blue sky, to the moon in the sky. They're blindfolded, and they're wearing white, and they've got two swords basically sort of crossed over their chest, right? They're holding them up. That looks heavy, for one thing. It looks a little bit like a burden, the weight of these swords. But what really comes across to me here is a crossroads. Like we're at a point of choice, and perhaps there is a choice that we are delaying taking, that we are pretending we don't have to make a choice in this situation. Or, you know, we just know what the choice is. We know what the thing is that we have to do. And so we're sort of dithering about it, pretending to think about it, pretending to discuss other options, you know, realizing, of course, that the you know, often once you choose a course of action, the options you had at that turning point, the other options you had at that turning point fall away. They become unavailable. You would have to, you know, redouble your work to get back. To get back to where you could make that choice again. So, you know, often we don't like to make the difficult choice that includes the hard work. You know, this person is sitting here blindfolded, but surely they can hear the rippling of the water behind them, that emotional effect that is sort of whispering in their ear saying, I don't want to go ahead and do this work. I don't want to go ahead and make this choice. This is a difficult thing to do. It strips me of other options. And so I hesitate at this point. All right. But understand that, you know, failing to make a choice, pretending you don't have a choice to make, or just failing to make it, that's also a choice. And understand that the longer we sort of dither and dally and pretend that, you know, we don't have to choose option one or option two, the fewer options we actually have, our capacity to choose diminishes the longer we wait. Okay, so, and you know, for some reason that comes up for me all the time. Like like time is of the essence when it comes to the crossroads, and I think it's because, you know, you've got these swords sort of pointing out at 10 and 2, right? But deep in your heart, the moon in the sky there says, you know what it is that you need to do. Look, Mars and Gemini, you know, Mars, that pointy thing, and Gemini, the twins there, you know, really say, you know, you know what it is, you can perceive, okay, what it is that needs to happen. And the best thing to do would be to take action and go ahead and, you know, step off from that crossroads in the direction you know you should go. Even if it's difficult, even if it's not something that you wanted to be doing, even if it wasn't part of your plan a year ago, you know, if it's got to be part of the plan now in order to bring you closer to, you know, living a life that you can celebrate, then it's time to do that work, even if it's difficult work. Okay, and with all of that said, I'm going to turn over this card because it just fell right out there. We have the Queen of Cups. Okay, so more water element here, okay? More rippling waters in the picture. The Queen of Cups is a representation of mastery of emotion, and mastery of intuition, and a capability of using that mastery to nurture things into growth, nurture things into being. So, this is a person who very much knows how they feel about things, feels things very deeply, and understands that feelings are not just emotions that arise and go away, which they are. Feelings do arise and go away. They are temporary. But they also are information. Feelings are data that come up from within, from in our heart, in our mind, in our gut, in our intuitive knowing. Emotions arise. They tell us, this is how I feel about this because this is what I think is true, right? And then, having discovered that emotion, having discovered what that emotion tells us in terms of what we think is true and or false, we can go, searching intellectually for the real answer, right? So here's the Queen of Cups, a very, again, deeply felt person, a person with the capacity not only to feel, but to help other people feel, to give lessons in feeling and in healing, to give lessons in being in touch with with your intuition. A good person to look to as a guide if you know somebody in your life who is like the Queen of Cups, that is, who is a very deeply emotional, deeply feeling person, deeply intuitive person, but who also has command over those emotional reactions, those intuitive responses, such that such that they can even transmute negative feelings into positive experiences or positive expressions of emotion. If you know somebody like that in your life, who is emotional but also in rational control, capable of feeling, capable of helping other people feel and heal and understand how to use their intuition, use that person as a role model. It can be very helpful just to pick the brain of somebody, who seems to have a little more of a calm demeanor, or, a deeper sense of their understanding. And when we are able to be in mastery of our emotions, to remain calm, to remain even somewhat joyful, even as we allow all of the feelings to come in, to express them in ways that are nurturing, that are healing, that are helpful to other people, that puts us in a really powerful position. Really being able to, to feel the negatives and the positives, and to still be able to show up in a calm way that shows that we are deeply felt, that we are connected to the vibration of the people around us, connected to, the sort of collective consciousness, the collective feeling, but also remaining in command of ourselves, not really falling prey to, sort of the whims of other people's emotions. When we get to that point, then that's a really powerful place for us to be in. So if you're not there right now, that's okay. Look to somebody that you perceive as being so, and see if you can learn anything from them. The Queen of Cups is over here. It's funny because a couple days ago we got the King of Cups. The Queen of Cups is over here, and I think she's really pointing to this Jupiter and Neptune vibe, specifically to the Neptune vibe. But Jupiter too, because the Queen is royalty. The Queen represents mastery. The Queen has done all of the higher education, all of the traveling, all of the bigger business, it had all the expanded experiences, right? She is big enough on the inside to hold all of the wealth and abundance that is hers in this life. And then Neptune in Pisces, like, this is very Queen of Cups vibes, because it's very watery, it's very emotional, it's deeply intuitive, it has a lot of fertility and creative capacity. And, it's really about being in touch, especially Neptune retrograde in Pisces, not just being in touch with what our intuition is telling us, but being really clear, having a lot of rational clarity on what those intuitive vibes are telling us about what would be the ideal circumstances for us in our lives, what would make us feel the most comfortable and fulfilled and happy in our lives. And, it's interesting because we've got those over here, and those are in opposition to these personal planets over here, where we're either struggling with some indecision, or we are pretending to struggle with some indecision because, we don't know which way to go. One thing that comes up for me in terms of the Two of Swords with the Queen of Cups here is that, sometimes we're entertaining two choices, and it's like one option is the option that feels the best to me. One option is the one that looks to me like it would be the most fulfilling in the long run, or feels to me like it would be the most fulfilling in the long run. And then the other option is the stuff that everybody else wants me to do. Right? So say, for example, I'm just starting school, and what would feel good to me in the long run would be to study music therapy, but everybody in my family and my sweetheart and my sisters and brothers and my friends are all saying, you need to study business, or you need to study law, you need to go make a bunch of money doing something, tried and true and professional, right? And it's okay to go ahead and study those things, but really, in the long run, it's my life. Don't you forget, right? You have to make the choice that is going to be the most fulfilling to you. And if you make a choice that is going to be unfulfilling, you're not likely to find fulfillment there. If you make a choice sort of dragging your feet and going, okay, I'm going to do the practical thing. At a time like this, no, we do the thing that that helps us follow our dreams. We do the thing that brings us closer to our ideal circumstance. And that's not just about money, that's about feeling good. It's about being able to live with ourselves. It's about feeling good about the path we're on, and the things that we've done, and the people that we hold dear to us in our lives, the principles that we hold dear to us in our lives, okay? So truly, when you're dithering over this choice, and especially if it's a choice between what I want and what I feel would be the most creatively developmental for me, the most positive sort of creative development for me, let's let that take precedence right now over what everybody else is saying is the best idea for you to do, okay? That's a Neptune card, not a Saturn card. Or, Moon is trine with Neptune and Saturn today, really giving us these worker vibes, giving us this sort of diligence and this ability to act, especially in the direction of creating resolutions for ourselves. But, again, that could be an ability to act also on all of this connection we have with Neptune and Jupiter right now, and these positive circumstances we have in drawing, change for the better toward us in our lives. New endings and beginnings that represent the bigger, better things that we would like to be, do, and have in our lives. Please follow your gut, your guidance, and your intuition. Please, don't fail to choose, because then you're kind of left, given the situation, like for the person who is trying to choose a major for college, right? If you fail to choose a major and you just don't wind up going to college because they wanted you to do one thing and you wanted to do another thing, then everybody loses. And especially you lose twice, because you didn't do the tried and true thing, and you also didn't do the thing that followed your heart. You just failed to make a choice and didn't wind up doing either of them. And that can be a really difficult situation to put ourselves in. So sometimes the hard choice that we need to make, that we're trying not to make, is the one where we have to go tell those people who care about us and support us that we don't want to do what they want us to do, right? We have to go tell those people who support us, that there's something in our heart that tells us to do something different from what they're asking of us. And that takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of bravery, okay? So maybe that's where Mars trine to Saturn and the moon comes in right now. You're like, the moon is our feeling, it's also a very watery vibe. It's our feeling hearts. It's what it feels like to be in our bodies and our hearts and our minds, and what it's like for us to be at home, who we are among the people that we love. So this, in this trine situation with Saturn and Mars, saying, yes, positive work is available to us. Positive communication, active communication is what will get the work done to bring us in the direction of feeling better about the choices that we're making. Okay, we want to feel good about the choices we're making. Again, we have to be able to live with ourselves, right? Okay, so that can be challenging. It can be challenging to open up to people and say, I don't want to do what you're telling me to do. I want to do this other thing that I know you probably think is very frivolous or a dead end. But to me, in my heart, I feel like this is the thing I could do every day for the rest of my life. I feel like this is the thing that is leading me down the path toward my dreams and aspirations. And so that's the path I have to tread. And I believe that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.